Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to continue our ranking of the Doctor Who seasons and series from classic Doctor Who and modern Doctor Who from worst to best. Today we are in 30th place, and we're going to be looking at season 21 from classic Doctor Who, Peter Davison's final season. This list has been really hard to do, some of these especially, because some of these have, like season 21 has like two masterpieces, but then they have two stories that are often cited as being pure garbage, one of which is, and the other one is not quite, but still really bad. And then some others sprinkled out in there that vary, I hear the opinions vary on. Now, I've never seen The Awakening. That's one of the, I think, 3 Davison stories I've never seen. I know it's a 2-parter. I don't really know much about it, which I like. I'm going to be going into it blind when I see it. I like that. I really like Frontios. I saw it for the first time not too long ago, actually. One of my subscribers sent it to me. I really appreciate that because it is one I wanted to see, and it gave me a nice break from all the first Doctor stuff I've been watching. And I really enjoyed it. It's nice to see the Doctor actually get to be a doctor. You know, he's acting like a medical doctor, helping people and stuff. I really, really liked Davison in Frontios. He played it really well. Good story, and some of the effects I like. The little tractators didn't really impress me a whole lot, but some of the camera shots were really, really good. I remember there was one in episode 1 where it showed like the ship and stuff. It looked really good. Planet of Fire is pretty good. It's not like a masterpiece, but it's pretty good. I mean, it has Chameleon in it, and I don't like Chameleon. And then the whole situation with the Master is a little silly, but I did like it. Turlough's final story, he really gets some more character development there that he really hasn't had since the Black Guardian trilogy, so it's nice to see that. And it's just nice to see, you know, another story with the 5th Doctor in Perry. Since this is Perry's first story, we don't get a lot of the 5th Doctor with Perry. So I like being able to see a little more of the 5th Doctor with Perry, since all I really had to go on was caves. So I like Planet of Fire. I watched the standard edition. One of my patrons, Alice, had requested a review of it, and I'd never seen it. So I think she likes when I do reviews of stories I'm watching for the first time. So I don't own it, but I found a spot online where I could watch a good quality version of it, and I gave it a watch. I watched the original version of it, the broadcast version, and enjoyed it. So I do want to see the updated effects version sometime or another. I still do want to get that DVD at some point so I can watch the updated version. And then we have like the masterpieces, which I think it has 2. You have Resurrection of the Daleks. I love Resurrection of the Daleks. I think it's the best of the 3 80s Dalek stories, and it's high up on my Dalek stories list anyway. I think Terry Malloy is great as Davros. I really enjoy him here. I really love the level of violence in this story. I think it has more kills than like RoboCop or the Terminator or something famously. That's pretty cool. It does need some updated effects. It is the story that needs the updated effects in season 21, like when the Daleks invade the space station to rescue Davros and they're having all the big shootouts with the guards. It doesn't quite work because the effects aren't there. Like the guards' guns don't even shoot. They just flash that little light and go, and I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I have seen fan-created updated effects on YouTube. More than one, several. And they look really good, really good. So I really think when we get the season 21 box set, Resurrection is the story that needs the updated effects. Because it's very effects heavy. There's a lot of effects going on because a lot of people are getting killed by laser blast. I got way too excited for that. So I really would like it to get the updated effects. But the story is there. I like the story. I enjoyed that. I like that we kind of get the seeds of the Dalek Civil War starting here with Davros taking control of a couple of the Daleks, and we know they'll continue to do that later. I like the face-off between the 5th Doctor and Davros when, you know, I'm not here as your prisoner, but as your executioner. I mean, we know he's not going to do it. He's the Doctor, especially not the 5th Doctor. He's not going to do it. So, which he's the Doctor, he shouldn't. But I like the fact that he's tempted for a time, much like his "Do I Have the Right" speech with the 4th Doctor. You know, there's a moment where, you know, Dave's having to wrestle with himself whether or not he can kill Davros. it's a powerful scene. I really like that. Davison does a good job there. And then, of course, the other one is Caves of Androzani, which is a masterpiece. I always thought Caves was slightly overrated in the sense that I don't think it's the best classic Doctor Who story ever made, or the best Doctor Who story ever made, but it is the best, objectively, I think, the best Fifth Doctor story. It's not my favorite. That's, excuse me. It's not my favorite. My favorite is Castrovalva, but I do think it's objectively the best, and it's definitely Davison's best performance in the role. He is just on fire here, giving it his all, and it's such a good story. After all, it's Bob Holmes. Love me some Bob Holmes. And Bob Holmes apparently is quoted for saying that he wanted to put the Fifth Doctor through hell. And he wanted to put him through hell. And he does in the story. Everything going on here. You have a Phantom of the Opera character, which is sympathetic while also creepy. It does a good job of making you feel bad for the guy while also thinking he's creepy and a little out of the head after what's happened to him. You have the Doctor and Perry having to deal with the Spectrox poisoning. You have them having to deal with people wanting to kill them or capture them or use them for various reasons on all sides, because you have Jack, then you have the people hunting Jack, and then you have Morgoth or whatever his name is on the planet, the rich dude. All of them. And basically, Davison's main goal early on in the story, he realizes, is I've got to get out of here. That's their goal. They need to get away. Well, then when they realize they're sick, they need to try to get the bat's milk and then get away. It's just a heck of a story. They don't have any allies in it. Everyone around them is terrible. And everyone around them, I think everyone around them dies. Because they're all terrible people. It's a really good story. It's Bob Holmes being amazing like Bob Holmes does. And a phenomenal story. But then we have the bad ones on the list. The ones that really pull this one down in the rankings. Let's talk about the worst one, Warriors of the Deep. It's garbage. I do not like Warriors of the Deep. I've only watched it once, and that's because it's garbage. I don't like how they bring the Silurians back in this. I don't like how they bring the Sea Devils back in this. I don't know what's up with the Sea Devils' weird armor, but the story itself I don't really care for. I like the idea of the Doctor visiting like a seabed space station. I'd love to see that again sometime, because I love just the idea of that. It's not executed well here for the most part. I like the fact that one guy who can be kind of programmed like a computer, and people take advantage of that to sabotage him. That's a pretty neat idea. Like the fact they even make him strangle the one girl who finds out. I was like, and you knew he didn't want to do that, but he didn't have a choice. That was a cool moment. The one captain of the base at the end who's shot and dying, but he manages to hold on to help save the day. That was cool. The Merc. Davison not being in his outfit and being in that weird whatever he's wearing most of the episode also looks terrible. That Merc is just so bad. Even by classic standards, it's so bad. And like that one woman, when she gets killed by it, she like sees it, she just karate kicks it. She's like, ah. Oh no, there's that thing that if it touches me will kill me. Just karate kicking. Twin Dilemma automatically is not the worst episode of the season. Just because of that scene, I'll just karate kick it. Oh, it's so bad. It's like the actress and the director were talking. Okay, here's your death scene. Okay, how do I die? What do I do? Shit, I don't have time to think about this. Just go out there and do something. And she's like, all right, what do I do? I'll just kick it. I can't get over it. Did Chris Chibnall write Warriors of the Deep? Oh, me. And then, of course, the Doctor's line right at the end before the credits. There should have been a better way. That's like the Classic Who equivalent of the 13th Doctor's speech at the end of Orphan 55. Because you can save humanity, or... when it's like, it's trying to tell you, hey, pollution is bad, nuclear war is bad, all that stuff is bad, and you're like, yeah, we get that, we know. It's the same thing. It's like right at the end, that's the Classic Who equivalent of it. You see everything went wrong, and the Doctor just practically looking at you, there should have been a better way. Credits. And I'm sitting there going, these people who talk about how Classic Who's better because it's not quite so on the nose, and I've said that myself before. Even I have to admit, there are times when Classic Who was too on the nose, and that's the one that always clicks in my mind. I remember right when the episode ended, I was just like, Warriors of the Deep sucks. And then we have the Twin Dilemma, which is bad, but it's not absolute garbage. There are some redeeming things about Twin Dilemma. One, I like some of the things the story does. Now, not some of the details. There are some really stupid details, but kind of the broad strokes of the story. Kind of like the story before it was got to its final draft with all the little details added in. Just kind of the broad strokes going on. I actually really enjoy it. I found myself, when I rewatched the story earlier this year, enjoying some of the beats of the plot. Especially the overarching one, what the main villain was doing, what he was doing to kind of, excuse me, seed the galaxy with his little worm egg things. I thought that was a pretty neat idea. And how he was using the calculations from the twins to do that. Like I said, some of the story I was actually enjoying. I like the slug creature that's running everything. His outfit, his costume is really well done. For a Classic Who costume, I think it looks pretty impressive. I was pretty pleased with it. And the guy playing the other Time Lord, the one that used to be the ruler of the planet, the Doctor's old friend, I think the actor does a really good job playing him. Now that we've covered the good part, let's talk about the not so good stuff. The actors playing the twins are terrible. Which, they're kid actors, but yeah, they're awful. My God, they're awful. They're so awful. The Sixth Doctor. Some of the choices they make for him to do in this episode are awful. The strangling Perry thing, him being that abrasive from the get-go, to him hiding behind Perry. No, it wasn't me. Get here, spare me. Oh, man. Woo. There are so many times the Sixth Doctor is just at his worst here. And then to cap off the episode with, I am the Doctor. Turns and looks at the audience, whether you like it or not. That's not a good way to leave your audience for 9 months. Releasing this story at the end of season 21. Ending the season on that, with that, the taste of the new Doctor, of that in their mouth, for I think it's 9 months between the end of Twin Dilemma and the beginning of Attack of the Cybermen. 9 months to stew on that? Dum 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 dum. That is an awful idea. They should have ended it with Caves and started the next season with Twin Dilemma. That way, a week later, they could have gotten into Attack of the Cybermen and say, okay, it gets better, it gets better. Instead of letting them stew for months on the Twin Dilemma Sixth Doctor, which is just so abrasive, especially considering Caves is such a masterpiece. That would have been a great way to end the season. And I think when Josh Snares did his video ranking all of the Classic Who, I think Twin Dilemma was literally at the bottom, and Caves was number 1 on the list. Polar opposite ends of the list. And they really should have ended season 21 with Caves and started 22 with Twin Dilemma. But Twin Dilemma to me is not complete garbage. Like I said, there are little things I can enjoy in it. Like my last rewatch of it, I was glad I rewatched it. But yeah, it's still pretty bad. So that's why 21 is the way it is where it is. You got 2 really amazing stories, 2 really bad stories, and then 1 story I haven't seen, and 2 stories that I think are pretty good. So, season 21, what do you think of it? Comment down below and let me know. Also, while I have you here, all that other fun stuff, clicking the like button, clicking the subscribe button, that helps me out and I appreciate it. And check out my description. I've got a link to my Patreon down there, a link to my Amazon wish list is down there, as well as my P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me. I want to give a shout out to Stephen Crane, one of my top tier patrons. I appreciate him. And all of my patrons on Patreon. Most importantly though, thank you for watching.